Yo, what it do? Kicking it with your boy K Sims, back at you with another episode on the KPhonics podcast. So the circus has fucking ended. What do I mean by that? The government is back open. Now, if you're an individual who are a part of the military armed forces, or you are a part of the military armed forces, and or you work for the government, or have retired from the government, or retired from the military forces, I am glad that the government is now back open so you can receive your compensation. You individuals have not worked for free, and you did not sign up for an internship. So I am glad that the government is back open so you can receive your money. Now, what did this shit really all stem over? For the past 3 days, this basically stemmed over a dispute on an immigration policy. That immigration policy specifically deals with DACA. Now, if you never heard of DACA, DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. So that basically protects nearly 700,000 undocumented immigrants who were brought over here as minors, and it protects them from deportation. Now, the government obviously funds DACA. So the Democrats came to the table to the Republicans and stated that, what are we going to do about funding? Meaning that, is the president going to codify a policy for DACA? Of course, the Republicans, they didn't want to be pressured into, concession about this issue. And they stated that, this policy that's already in place doesn't end until mid-March. How about we deal with it then? Of course, they didn't want to do that. So it came to a vote. And obviously, individuals did not agree upon what was going on. So as a result, the government shut down. Now, there are several reports out there on this issue. Reports that are stating that President Trump was not very consistent on DACA. Obviously, from his campaign that he built on was the wall. So that obviously lets you know that his true feelings about DACA, but he might have been saying things behind closed doors to certain individuals about this issue. So there are, several articles out, from CNN and the Business Insider. One particular article from the Business Insider states from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Sumner basically, states his inconsistencies with what he wanted to do with DACA. At first, he basically was, telling the House to come up with the deal, and he would take the heat for it from the critics. Okay, that was one thing. And then he basically reneged on his story. Basically, he didn't want any parts of DACA because I guess he didn't really know what he really wanted to do with DACA. Okay. I mean, my position is, when it comes to him and DACA, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust shit that I don't trust shit that he says now, but I meant, like, the man built his campaign off the wall. What makes you think that he was going to actually come to the table and, codify a bill that will protect undocumented immigrants going forward? I mean, when you have a man that, let's look at some of these goddamn tweets that this man has said. Great to see how hard Republicans are fighting for our military and safety at the border. The Democrats want illegal immigrants to pour into our nation. The Democrats are turning services and security for citizens in favor of services and security for non-citizens. Not good. Democrats have shut down the government in the interest of their far left base. They don't want to do it, but are powerless. I mean, Democrats are holding our military hostage over their desire to have unchecked illegal immigration. Can't let that happen. I mean, you got an individual who's been tweeting about this ever since it's been shut down. So that basically lets you know how he really truly feels about DACA, for individuals who just have to see it in order to believe it. I mean, this man has basically had the same when he first started. He wanted to build the damn wall, and then he wanted Mexico to pay for the goddamn wall. Now, when it comes to DACA, okay, you're expecting him to codify a bill and then give funding to it when this motherfucker don't even want these bitches over here in the first place. Okay, you know what he wants to do to every illegal immigrant? Send them back to their original country. And he wants all Americans to be here, particularly European Americans, white Americans. Hell, he would send black folks back to Africa if he could. He might not come out and publicly state that, but that motherfucker obviously believes that cold-heartedly. So, what do I take from all this? It's very unfortunate. I mean, I'm seeing bills like every day, like about immigration. I mean, well, not every day, but I mean, every time I look up, I work with a Hispanic, mainly Hispanic women, dominant workforce where I work at. And, they do talk about these issues a lot. I mean, from not having any more protections from El Salvadorians. Obviously the state of Texas passed a bill back in September that if you look, illegal, that, the cops can use probable cause to, question you. I think that's unfortunate because you can't just look at somebody and say, hey, they're illegal. Even if they don't know how to speak English, I mean, that doesn't necessarily say that they're illegal. They just don't know how to speak English. Even if somebody is bilingual, they can still be illegal. But I mean, look, if you've been over here for years and you haven't murdered anybody, you pay your taxes, you take care of your family, I believe, you should be naturalized off the bat. However, unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. Gotta find a judge. Well, not hell, before they even judge, you gotta find a lawyer that's actually in your best interest. I mean, I've heard countless of stories where individuals' money has been taken from lawyers and they can't do anything about it because they're illegal. They can't press charges. They can't go to the police out of fear of deportation, and they stay in certain areas where cops aren't prone to go back there and search, or even if they do know, they're not going to go back there because it might be a waste of their time unless it's a raid. Hell, at one particular point, especially back in 2017, if you don't know, I'm a probation officer, but ICE was at my region almost every day picking up illegal immigrants. I mean, it was unfortunate that they committed crimes, but I mean, hell, I knew why they were over here. There were no opportunities over in Mexico or Guatemala or El Salvador, wherever they might be from, because they're not all Mexican. If you believe that they're not all Mexican, they come from all across many borders. But I mean, it's unfortunate that that these situations happen, and it's unfortunate that families are in fear of being deported and they can't do anything about it. And I mean, you hear individuals picking oranges and going to certain companies because you can pay them off the books, pay them in cash, give them a social security number that's has their name on it but not necessarily valid, or they can't renew their driver's license because they don't have the proper documentation. I mean, it's a lot of things, man, that happen. But like I said before, if you've been over here for years, if you pay your taxes, if you've never committed a crime, and you take care of your family and you don't bother nobody, naturalization should come for you easily. It shouldn't even be a process. But everybody doesn't think the way that I do, especially individuals in high power, because they don't want them over here. They would look at me and probably say, what are you going to do if somebody that's illegal murders an American? And then then it'll be one big old fiasco and debate. So but to all my undocumented brothers and sisters out there, man, look, I stand with you. Like I said before, man, if you've been over here for years, take care of your family, do what you're supposed to do, go to work every day, don't start no shit. Naturalization, if I had the power, I'd naturalize all of you. Naturalize all of you. That way you can travel within the city, not only in Houston but everywhere in peace. It's unfortunate that you might have to live inside of a bubble or take risks going out every day, especially going to work, because of the fact that you don't have an ID or you don't have the right documentation. And law enforcement can be petty, as we do know, but it's unfortunate, man. I just hope that DACA gets some sort of funding. I know that the president, that's a long shot coming from him. So I hope that this issue gets resolved, and I pray that they get some more funding on this issue. I'm sure there's gonna be more issues later. I even read an article, I think from CNN.com, stating that the government might go back to a shutdown within 3 more days. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, you know, my grandpa needs his retirement check. Okay, my pops needs his retirement check, and everybody else who's either retired from the military, in the military, retired from a government job, working currently in a government job, everybody needs their goddamn money. Okay, immigration is not a hard issue at all. Okay, it should not be hard for you to come over and get U.S. citizenship. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, you know, if you're a murderer or if you're running from a charge and anything of that nature, that you should be granted citizenship. No, I'm talking about individuals who have been over here or even have not even been over here. Look, if you got a good track record where you're from, you take care of your family, never had any trouble with the law, then you should be given naturalization. I mean, I go on many cruises, and I mean, talking to the residents from Jamaica and the Bahamas, you know, they've even stated that it's hard to get a visa to even travel, and that, you know, sometimes they just stop trying, or it's even hard to get naturalization from the U.S. and they just stop trying. I mean, look, like I said before, you take care of your business, take care of your family, do what you're supposed to do. Naturalization should not be an issue. However, in today's world, money talks. And if you ain't got the money, or if you ain't got any sort of connections, then you're basically putting in the hands of the legal system. And that's not always trustworthy. But the bullshit is over. I'm sure there's gonna be more bullshit from this nigga later, because he tweets every fucking thing. I wonder, does anybody run his Twitter at this particular point? I'm sure he probably, I wonder, has he ran his own Twitter, period? I wonder, does he hire somebody to fucking write all this shit? But who knows? But that's all for today. I just want to talk about that goddamn bullshit. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace, love, one.